to be politically oriented? Do you want a platform where you get updated with socio-political issues? Then Vigilance is the right place for you. Join Folashade Adebi every Fridays 4 p.m. WAT to discuss socio-political issues in society. Hello, listeners. Welcome to another exciting episode of Vigilance. This is a podcast where we discuss socio-political issues in society. Join me every Fridays for interesting and enlightening episodes. I am your host, Folashade Adebi. You can follow us for more updates by searching video.com on your web browser. Video as in VEEGIL.com. Video.com is a debate platform where users get to interact and discuss issues affecting society. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, Video Media, LinkedIn, Video, and Instagram, Video_media. And as always, with me is Aminat. Welcome back, Aminat.
Thank you, Folashade. I'm delighted to be here.
It's always good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Let's go back comments from our previous episode tackling corruption in Nigeria. The first comment I have here is from Adebad. He said, "To think that the Buhari administration manifesto laid emphasis on war against corruption, yet we rank as the second most corrupt country in West Africa." Aminat, could you please read the second comment?
Okay, so this is from Chilo. It states that despite the series of efforts targeted at sending the right message, the number of allegations outweighs the trials of cases, and the actual convictions from these trials is minute in relation to the trials. No thanks to the never-ending court cases.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the last comment I have here is from Julie. She said, "I think the Buhari administration has done quite well because looking at the EFCC record cases, they seem to have done quite well under the Buhari administration." Well, thank you for the comment. Be sure to keep the comments coming. Who knows, we might do that to your comment in subsequent episodes. So, in today's episode, we'll be discussing poverty in Nigeria. According to reports by Statista in 2019, the Nigerian state of Sokoto and Taraba had the largest percentage of people living below the poverty line. Besides, a report by the World Poverty Club shows that Nigeria has overtaken India as the country with the most extremely poor people in the world. Note that India has a population that is like 7 times larger than Nigeria. Now over to you, Aminat. What do you think of this?
Well, the high rate of poverty in Nigeria, can be likened to a lack of, or would I rather say, inadequate, policy on population control.
Okay.
Nigeria, for one, is the 7th most populous country in the world and the most populous in Africa.
Okay.
This is a country that is underdeveloped and, lacks basic amenities. Yet, the number keeps climbing. And it's so sad to note that there are really no stringent plans, to cater for this rising population. Unfortunately, again, many Nigerians, earn less than 300 to 400 naira per day.
Well, that is really pathetic.
Very, very pathetic.
Well, now the question is, for a country with so much mineral resources, how come we're still the country with the most extreme poor people in the world?
Well, true. Nigeria is blessed with both mineral and agric resources.
Okay.
Mineral resources in terms of oil and gas, coal, iron ore, gold, and lots more.
Okay.
Also, agric resource, in terms of cocoa beans, groundnuts, maize, yam, and the likes. You understand? But over the years, we've seen to have neglected the mass production, and exploitation of other resources,
Okay.
for crude oil. Um, up until, would I say, in the 1950s, up until I think it's 1970s,
Mm.
Nigeria was regarded as the second largest producer of cocoa, in the world. These resources are often not utilized to their full potential.
Okay.
Take for instance, this same crude oil that seems to be like the only resource that we
Wait, about
are we
Nigeria.
are all focused on today in Nigeria,
Okay.
has about 6,000 products, and we are just focused on just a selected few, you know. Well, it's good that we know that we've been told, that the Port Harcourt refinery will be revamped, you know, and of course, we know that the Dangote refinery too is in the pipeline,
Okay.
So we are hoping, I for one, I'm really hopeful that this should, give room for, more employment opportunities, increase in exports,
Okay.
especially the funds we'll be getting from the exports. You understand? I'm also hoping that we get to see, increase in the number of SMEs, that would come into the supply chain,
Okay.
that would, also facilitate the effective distribution of these products across board.
Thank you. So, how do you think the government can eradicate poverty?
All right. So first off, I feel like the government has to put in place favorable policies that
Okay.
would make, take for instance, the agri sector, more attractive,
Okay.
and then policies in terms of security. You understand? So this would, by the time we address security, it will give room for both local and foreign investors to come into that sector, right? Considering the issues we're having
Now.
around security and farmers, having
Being
to
killed.
flee
Yes.
their
Yes.
farmland and things like that. So I think if we have good policies in place to checkmate that, we'll see a rise in the number of local and foreign investors in that sector. I would also um, love to see policies in terms regarding the various players in the sector, the operations of the various players in the sector. Now, players in terms of those that are going to be like participants, people that would, play a particular any role really, whether coming as investor, whether coming as a laborer, whether as whatever it is in the supply chain, whoever is going to be in that sector. I would love to see policies to address things like monopoly, things like having to, like say, fight dirty.
Okay.
Some people wouldn't mind going to whatever length, just as far as they get to take the spotlight, and these are things that are bad for investments. You can't have a place where it's sort of like a free for all for everyone and expect to have people come to put in their hard-earned funds in that sector. So I also feel it's not just about policy, because we have
Okay.
so many policies in place, no doubt. You understand? So I would want the government to also try to ensure that these policies are effectively implemented. You understand? Implemented as they should, so that we could have, adequate checks and balances, in place to address whatever it is that one would expect. You understand? By so doing, I feel like they would get to see numerous entries into the sector,
Okay.
and this would go as far as creating like a ripple effect, in the sense that we will now have more people that will be gainfully employed in that sector, gainfully employed in the form of us now having more farmers